everybody. Today I'm going to go off topic for a few things. I am foremost looking to build a support channel. But of course, there are other things that I'm going to want to talk about. There are other issues out there. And I love my crime channels. I love my study groups. And it's sad to see that the bullying in the crime channels and study groups have just went out of hand. And it's sad. It's sad that people are getting attacked. People are getting welfare checks called to their house. They're just never ending with the bullying and the making videos that are inappropriate of creators. It's to the point that it's embarrassing to me for the people who are doing it, because who stoops that low? And then again, on the other hand, there are times that I'm not really going to be supportive of people, of course, because of bad behavior and people that I think are taking advantage of situations. And I wanted to bring this up because I heard about this a few weeks ago, but I watched another video on this today, and this is this Cadles lady. I never liked her or trusted her from the very beginning. She is writing a second book on the Chris Watts murder. And this man, if you don't know of the case or heard of the case, murdered Shanann, his pregnant wife, and 2 children. And I kind of talked about this in my other video, where we know that, in our opinions, let's put it that way, that there are other people involved that we believe need to be brought to justice. Because again, there are other people out there that they may decide to try to do this crime again, or another crime against another family. And it could be yours, it could be mine, it could be anybody's. But the fact is, we all got to think that way, because there's other people running loose that were, in my opinion, involved in this situation. So this Sherilyn Cadles went and visited Chris Watts in the prison. And she started writing letters with him back and forth, and used those letters to write a book. And the book was plagiarized, parts of it, from somebody else's book. So there's where I said I didn't trust her to begin with. And she proved that she wasn't trustworthy. She lost that income, which to me, using a pregnant mother, an unborn baby, and 2 children to justify making some money off of by plagiarizing, and now for the second time trying to write a second book because the first one failed, you're really grasping at straws, and it's really disgusting, because there's no reason you should have ever involved yourself with Chris. There's no reason you should be plagiarizing books, and there's no reason you should be trying to write another one. In my opinion, it's just horrible. Again, I don't think anybody should waste their money to buy another one of her books. As we seen the first one you spent money on, it was not worth it. And I'm sure this one is not going to be worth it. There's no more information in this one than there was in the last one. There's no reason for her to even do this, except, again, another grasp at, to me, blood money. So please, if you know of this case and you know of this lady who's writing this book, you are not going to find out anything you don't already know. in my opinion. You are probably going to waste your money, in my opinion, as we all did, except me, because I would never even buy her books, because I know what it's about and I know why she's doing it. So the people who did, it was a waste of money. You know, she said there was going to be this bombshell evidence that was going to come out in the books that nobody knew of. And there was nothing in her book that nobody knew of. It was just to get people to buy it. Please don't waste your money. Please don't give this lady your money. She doesn't deserve it. There's no investigation on her case. There's nothing she's put into this. All she's done is try to make some money off of a horrible situation. And that's what she's continuing to try to do. Again, I don't understand the bullying going on in the case, because if we're talking about the case, it's for a reason. We're not trying to hurt the family. We're not trying to make anything out of it that it's not. We who have had a study group, and lots of us have, who followed the case from the very beginning, have had study groups, and that's what I'm into. On besides this, I'm into true crime. I like being part of study groups. I like trying to figure out what happened and why it happened, and sometimes we can help the police see things that they don't see. Unfortunately, with this case, the police don't care. And this is why it's a big deal for us as Americans. Every case should be investigated properly and to the fullest extent. And this one was not. It was opened and shut really quick. People that should have been questioned and should have had polygraphs and should have, really been dug into weren't. Us as, true crime followers, we did dig, and we have found things that the police overlooked. And for that fact, we want this case investigated properly. We don't want murderers running around on the streets. If you were involved in planning a crime, you're involved in the murder. And my opinion, they were there the night of the murder. They helped with the murder. And a lot of us have that opinion. And there is proof out there, which I'm not going to get into because I'm not a true crime channel. I would suggest you go to the Armchair Detective, AD, No Hiding Place, or the Ghost, Daniel Bishop. Those two are not only going to teach you more about the crime and more than what you're going to see or hear from the police and the fake news and the little movies that were made that aren't even close to what truly happened. If you really want to get deep down into this case, please go over to the Armchair Detective, AD, No Hiding Place. And Daniel Bishop is not only giving parts of the case, he is showing the background of what's going on with the bullying and the games and the harassment. And it'll make more sense if you put it all together. I also want to give it out to True Psych Ward. She has found a lot of evidence in this case as well, and she's still digging to find more. And she also put out a video on Cadell that is posted on my Facebook page, so please go there and watch that, of her video. It's not okay to let criminals get away with it just because you got one of them. You need to do the whole case, and you need to follow up, and we need this case handled. And I think us as Americans need to start getting together and pushing for crimes that are not fully looked into, and other people are involved, for the police to go after them. They have to finish the case. They have to stop saying, oh, it's closed, we're done, we don't think or we don't believe. It's not about what you believe or you think. You're supposed to follow the evidence. And from what evidence we have followed, and it's right there in front of you in black and white, in videos, in color, and the evidence is there. We're showing it on YouTube every day. And what we've cleared out of videos, the FBI could get a much clearer picture of and could see exactly what we're seeing with no problem, no second guessing. We've even had in AD's channel, ex-detectives come in and talk on it, where they agree it was not handled right and there's more that police should be doing. We have had specialists in dogs and walking and this and that to tell different parts of what we see that you could tell one person from another. In one clip, they keep wanting to say it's the same person walking around, and it's not. You can tell the difference between a man and a woman, the way they walk, the steps they're taking, the way their clothes are positioned differently, even though they tried to dress alike. You can see it clearly. And if I can see it clearly, and you can see it clearly, and the people watching the video can see it clearly, then you know if the cops or FBI cleaned it up, they can see it clearly. So we, again, as Americans, don't want criminals running around our streets in our country and putting other families at risk. This is the reason why we are so bent on getting this handled one way or another and having this investigation go further. There is no reason that other people should be running the streets if they've committed a murder or helped commit a murder or were part of a murder. So for that, here we go back to my bullying. I have a different opinion than you. You have a different opinion than me. Some is because they don't want to see it. Some are protecting criminals, and some it's just because they don't like who made the video, which is really stupid, because we're all looking at we all should be looking at what's most important. And the most important thing is the criminals running around out there. So we should all not want that. And it doesn't matter what you feel about anything else. It's because we want the criminals caught. If I can go murder somebody and get away with it, then what's the point of having police? What's the point of having detectives? What's the point of having FBI? So if I throw my husband under the bus, should I get away with murder? No. If you were involved, you're involved in the crime, you're part of the murder, you should be in jail. Period. And if there's any doubt, then the case should continue to be looked into. So for me having an opinion, Armchair Detective having an opinion, Daniel Bishop having an opinion, then we should all be bullied. Then, of course, I'm just a starting channel, so they haven't come after me yet, but I'm waiting my turn. No, nobody should be bullied because we have an opinion and we want justice done, and we have the knowledge that we have that maybe others don't want to, again, admit or believe or are protecting. We should not be bullied. You have your opinion, stay on your channels. The ones who want to side with the murderer or want to side with, the people we think were involved, that's fine. Stay on your own side. But if we want to get on our little group chats, and we've even brought it into a private setting on Patreon, and they will pay to get into Patreon to watch what's going on, to then harass, bully, and attack either the people that are participating or Armchair Detective, and that is not okay. So we don't even have a right to a private meeting, group study, whatever you want to call it. where we can sit around and discuss what we think happened, how it happened, and talk about it and do our little study group, because we're not allowed to talk about it, have an opinion about it, or discuss our feelings. But you can go on your channel and you can say all kinds of bullying stuff and make videos of people in their underwear that are, of course, fake, but make them look bad, and harass an old man, grandfather. And I don't say old man because I am saying that. I'm saying because he has said that on his channel. He's a grandfather, a father, and he's, you know, up there in age, and he doesn't deserve to be bullied. Neither does Daniel. Nobody does. And everybody else's channel that has came and discussed it with our channels because they've been bullied. The people who participate in the groups have had their Facebooks hacked and their, their messages hacked and been bullied and been sent emails. That is not how humans should behave. You're no better than the criminals out there. And it is a crime. And it is starting to be looked into. And you will go to jail eventually. You will get caught. Just because you think you're hiding behind a computer doesn't mean you can stay hiding there forever. They will find you. Anything you do on a computer can be tracked. And I don't care how good you think you are, how good your friend thinks you are, hiding behind that screen, you will be found. Just as good as the hackers are, the FBI and the police are. So you will be found. It's a crime. Stop harassing people for having their own opinion. Stop harassing people for having private chats. If you don't want to be involved with somebody else is doing, then stay out of it. Go back to your channel. Talk about whatever you want to. You can even, if you want, talk bad about us. That's fine. That's your opinion. If you don't like me, oh well, I could care less. And either could AD, and I'm sure either could Daniel. But when you get degrading and disgusting, and you start acting like you're not a person, then there's something wrong with you. You really need to take a good look inside yourself. Because for you to spend that much time and effort watching somebody you supposedly don't like, to spend hours on a computer reiterating what they've said, what they've done, and then making videos about them, you're spending a whole lot of time on somebody you don't like. There is something wrong with you. There really is something wrong with you. And maybe you need to go see somebody about that. But again, we'll go back to everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a right to it. I have a right to mine. They have a right to theirs. You have a right to yours. Agree to disagree and go about your business. Now, I know the other ones who are attacking us, it's because they're trying to protect the criminals, which, again, there's something broken in you for you to be protecting criminals that are out there for murder. If it was anything else, like, I believe everybody has a right to a second chance in life. Stealing, whatever, you do your time, you come out. I agree. Everybody has a right to try to better themselves. There's things people do as children or young teenagers or even in their young 20s that they shouldn't have to live with the rest of their lives. You know, people make mistakes in this world, and you do deserve a second chance. I wholeheartedly believe in that. Murder? To walk away with nothing? No. If you've murdered somebody, or if you've committed murder, if you've been a part of a murder, if you knew about a murder and did nothing, then you need to do your time. Even if someday you get a second chance, you still need to do your time for what you did. Not saying you never deserve another chance. If it was up to me, you probably wouldn't. You'd do life in prison. Unfortunately, not everybody gets that. Because to me, murder is a big deal. You have no right to take anybody's life. You need to pay for what you've done. And how you live with yourself, you're definitely disturbed. And you definitely belong in jail. If you could take somebody else's life for no reason. This woman was married to a man, had 2 babies, 1 on the way. And because some harlot started an affair with him, the mother, the unborn baby, and the 2 children deserve to die? No. These people need to be found. They need to be investigated properly. They need to be questioned properly, and they need to do their time for their involvement. And if you believe anything different, then there is something wrong with you. I don't see how anybody could back that up. This woman and these children did nothing to nobody. And then because we have that opinion, you will go and bully and harass and hack and send welfare checks to innocent people for having an opinion. That is a right opinion. That is a normal opinion. And try to push them to the point of breaking down or suicide by bullying, attacking, harassing. And in one instance was talking about somebody's dead son that they'd found on her Facebook page. Her son had died in the military. And they went after her and made fun of her dead son. You are sick. You people are sick. And this is the group that I want to build to stop this stuff from happening. If Facebook won't do it and YouTube won't do it, then we will push until something is done. We will report until something is done. If we have to take legal action, we will do it until something is done. This is not okay. And it never will be. And if we continue to allow it, like I've said before, then our children and our grandchildren are going to grow up into a horrible, disturbed world. And thank God for YouTubers and people out there sharing on platforms, because, you know, since I was a very young girl, I knew that regular news is rigged. It's fake. You know, they put out there what they're paid to put out there, and they're paid to put out what the government wants you to see. And we would have never got the information on this case if we didn't have people looking into it and people getting the records and the videos and, you know, us going through it and finding out what really happened. Not just what they wanted you to believe on the news and that it was an open and shut case and done. And we've got to keep that going, because we have to make sure that things are being done right in our country, and that there are no loopholes for people like this to slip through. So I give it to all of us and all of you out there working hard to bring us parts of cases and information and news around the world that, you know, we wouldn't really see if we didn't have each other. And I want us to fight to keep that up, because sometimes they're trying to shut us down and they're trying to stop us from communicating because they know it makes them look bad. But we can't worry about what makes them look bad. We've got to push to have justice in this world. Again, I will talk about many things, but I am a support group. I want to get this group growing. Please subscribe. Even if it's just to support the channel, subscribe. Hit the button down below, subscribe, hit the alerts for all. And some of my videos you may be interested in and some you may not, but at least let's get a support group going. You who are, you know, interested in supporting people. I mean, you may, through me, meet somebody in another state from me that's next door to you, that's close, right down the road, where, like I said, you could find somebody you can call every night. Who knows? But this is what I want. I want to make a group that is big enough to where everybody somewhere has somebody, whether it's by meeting with me on this channel, making a phone call, meeting somebody that might live down the road from you. It's happened a lot in chat rooms. You know, that you may make a new friend that can support you as much as you need. If you have any problems, I'm going to put my email in here. Sorry, I forgot it in my last video. I'm just learning how to do these, you know, and adding information to my videos. I want people to have a place to go. And if you're a channel and you're being harassed, let's get our, you know, groups together and our channels together that are good and want good out here on YouTube, and fight back. Don't just allow these bullies to have these bully channels. Let's get together and shut these bully channels down. They need to be shut down. It's not okay. And I don't want to hear on the news, whether it's the real or fake one, that somebody has committed suicide again because they were bullied, or somebody went after somebody and got somebody killed because of somebody else talking badly about somebody and stirring up some crazy person to go kill them. That is what this hate does. That is what this bullying does. That is what this attack attitude does. And again, it could be your child, it could be mine, it could be somebody else's. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't happen to nobody or nobody's children. We need to shut the bullying down. In person, on the web, on the platforms, wherever. It needs to stop.